Hello, everyone. Welcome to a different kind of episode for a Moe'S Culture Show and Tell, where I'm going to, based on my last video about getting older, I wanted to show you 12 albums that I have of artists and compilations. Mostly they are all compilations of before I was born, before the 1970s, because I was born in 1971. So pretty much everything I'm presenting here is from before I was born. Now the first seven are basically, and yeah, they're pretty much every single one of them are all greatest hits. For the first seven I will present are of the artist or band itself, and then the last five, because I have 12 altogether, the last five are basically a compilation of all different artists. So I will start off by one of my, yeah, the first couple are, well, they're all pretty awesome, but they're not really in any order of importance. But I will show you the first one. Let's start off with some Del Shannon, all the hits. Now, I love Del Shannon. Who doesn't love Runaway? Again, this is all stuff from the 60s, 1960s. And so you have Runaway, and probably my favorite Del Shannon song, as much as I love Runaway, I still really love Hats Off to Larry. Yeah, it's probably my favorite Del Shannon song. There's a couple of other stuff in here I really do love. The only one I think that's not from. I want to show you the covers of the inside a little bit. For greatest hits, it has some cool pictures here of. Let's see. The first one here is Del with Dion and English rocker Joe Brown. So that's that picture right here. And then there's On the Road with Bobby Rydell, which is that picture right here. And then there's one with Paul, Ringo, and Del in the middle, the one in the middle. And then just a couple of random pictures of Del Shannon. So this is a greatest hits of something again before I was born. And to talk about that music of the past before I was born. This was when I was a young kid. I always considered this my dad's music, even though I kind of secretly liked it more than I would let on that I did. It was always my dad's old music, and it's not until the last couple of decades where I really started appreciating that old 60s and even 50s and even some 40s music. But what I'm presenting here is mostly the 60s, but there's a little bit of the 50s stuff in there too. You'll see when I get to it. So the first one, yeah, is Del Shannon. And again, there's not in any particular order. It's just some stuff I really love, and I will present the highlights of why I got the album in the first place, even though the songs I mentioned, like Runaway and Hats Off to Larry, even though they are my favorite songs on there, the whole thing is good. He does a really good rendition of Memphis, and he also does like the last song on there is a really great cover of Twist and Shout from the Beatles. So yeah, there's that. Now, I really love this. I got this mainly for one song, but everything on it is super awesome. So it's Bobby V, the Essential Recordings, and like the highlights, of course, it would be the take good care of my baby. There's Rubber Ball, which I always really loved. Going down the list a little bit, there's Mr. Blue, which I really like. But the song I really wanted and needed from him was the Night Has a Thousand Eyes. You should really check out that video and song of him. I always loved it, even as a little kid. That was one of my favorite oldies that I love. Yeah, there it's Walking with My Angel is another great one. Just to highlight a few. He does a good. Where is it? I think he does Poetry in Motion also. Is that there? Yeah, Poetry in Motion, which is another great song that he does a good job with. I don't think that's his song in particular, but it's one that I love. So yeah, Bobby V. If you haven't heard any Bobby V, please go ahead and check that out. This is a great compilation that I love. Now, also speaking of music before my time, and again, the couple of highlights from this band that I really like, which I will give. Everybody knows the first song on here would be "Do You Believe in Magic?" You're talking about the Lovin Spoonful here, but I really loved a song. I was so surprised that they did this on here. Let me see if I can't find it. Yeah, there's Somewhere in the City. No, yeah, track number 12, "Rain on the Roof" by the Loving Spoonful. I really loved that song. That was on the radio a lot when I was a kid. That my dad used to love that one too. And but I actually got it for "Darling Be Home Soon," which is another great song that I love of the Loving Spoonful. But again, the whole album is fantastic and should be checked out. So again, greatest hits, everything here. Unfortunately, I don't have any like actual albums of any of these artists, but but it's always a great start if you don't know what to get. Start off with greatest hits because you get all, of course, their best work. So that's another one that I really love. Now this next band that I'm presenting here is again from the 60s, from all before I was born. Now, the whole thing is good. I mean, I'm going to go through the whole set list of this band, which is the Hermits, their greatest hits. It starts off with "Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter." And track number 2 is just my favorite song of them. Is "No Milk Today." It's such an interesting and great song. I love the way he sings it, and it's fantastic. Then there's "End of the World," "This Door Swings Both Ways," "Just a Little Bit Better," "I'm Henry the Eighth I am, Henry the Eighth I am." That song that Patrick Swayze sang to annoy Whoopi Goldberg's character in the movie Ghost. It's from that. There's a kind of hush. And another gem on there, okay? If you haven't heard Silhouettes, pay very close attention to the lyrics because it tells a little story of somebody seeing silhouettes on the shade where he thought, like, when as he was walking down her street, he saw some silhouettes on the shade and thinking that his girlfriend was cheating on him. But there's a twist at the end of the song that if you don't pay attention to the lyrics, you could completely miss that twist ending. So I don't want to spoil it for you. Check out Silhouettes. And number 9 is "I'm Into Something Good." Number 10, Can't You Hear My Heartbeat? Then there's Dandy, Dandy. Then What a Wonderful World. Hold On. Listen, People. Leaning on a Lamppost, another great one. And then the last song, A Must to Avoid. Yeah, this is classic stuff and beautiful music that I really enjoy playing. I'm going to need to play this soon. Haven't played it in a little while, but I love everything on that. Now the next artist, okay, I'm sure he's not really well known, but I got it particularly for one song, and ended up really enjoying the whole album. It's all really good and very like-minded of that first song. But I used to remember always for the longest time, ever since I was a little kid, and then I haven't heard that song in such a long time, and I kept on thinking about it and wanting to hear it again, wanting to hear it again. But it's Lee Dorsey, the absolutely the best. And it doesn't actually say the dates of any of the songs on here at all, but I'm sure it's from the 60s, maybe even the early 50s, or the late 50s and early 60s. I would guess. I should have checked that out first. But the first song, and you'll see the track list right there. Hopefully you can see that. The first song is called Yaya, but there's Do Re Mi, uh, Ixie Dixie Pixie Pie, Great Googa Mooga, People Gonna Talk, Who's Gonna Help Brother Get Further, Give It Up, Lonely Avenue, Eeny Meeny Miny Mo, What Am I Living For? Yes We Can, Part 1. Part 2 is not on here. Sneak and Sally Through the Alley, Night People, Everything I Do Gonna Be Funky from now on. This is awesome. Soul Mine and Can I Be the One. Yeah, those are the tracks on there. But it was because of Yaya, the first track, that I really, really needed to get. I always loved that song. So, Lee Dorsey, very underrated artist from that era. Again, before I was born. So do not dismiss stuff that's before your time, because there is so much beautiful, great music that was created like throughout all the last decade or so. Even songs. There's even stuff from the 20s or the 30s that would probably still be considered great even today, even though they're the oldies. Now the next artist here is another greatest hits, of course, because they're all greatest hits. And I'm not as crazy for it as I am the rest that I had just provided, but they still have some awesome. He still has some awesome songs I love. Splish Splash, Dream Lover, 18 Yellow Roses, On Broadway, Fly Me to the Moon. He does a really good rendition of La Bamba. There's Mac the Knife, If I Were a Carpenter, Blue Monday, Happy. This was the love theme from Lady Sings the Blues, and yeah, and as I mentioned already, Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah, it's not a bad compilation. I don't. I mean, yeah, it's Bobby Darin. He's great. I only bought this for $1. So it was still a really good bargain. I still really like this stuff. I like all that kind of music. And now to get into something a little different, and I had to get this fabulous 2 disc collector's edition of the fabulous Rat Pack. With Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy David Jr., and all together sometimes. Now I'll open this up so you can hopefully see the track listing, and it will show you who sings what. So all those songs from CD 1 and CD 2. It's not going to be the clearest, but hopefully you can see what's on there. Now look at the top, the very first song of disc 2, Baby Is Cold Outside. Now that song, okay, as far as I know today, is a little bit of a banned song. It's one of those canceled songs because of the subject matter. Some people really don't like it and think it's salacious and just wrong, but it's just a song. And I love everything on this. I don't care what anybody says. I still think this is pretty fantastic stuff. Uh, yeah. What's one of my favorite songs on here? I'm gonna open that up again so I can see that a little bit better. There's one song in particular I'm looking for. Um, yeah, is it on here? But I know I have. If it's not on here, I have it on something else. I don't think it's on here. Nope. Nope, it's not on here, but I do have it on something else, and I'll get when I get to it, I'll mention it. So yeah, the Fabulous Rat Pack. So see that I'm not limiting myself to just a certain style of music. I can go with the crooners too. Who doesn't love Frank Sinatra? There's some great Frank Sinatra stuff on that. Now, those seven were of a particular group or artist. But the next five I'm about to present, and I got this for all different reasons, and a lot of the songs kind of do repeat from one album to the next, but that doesn't matter. I basically bought these looking for very specific songs that I didn't have on other albums. But we'll just start with the randomly here with some 40 rock and roll favorites, and it has everything from rock and roll music by Chuck Berry. There's Elvis Presley, Jailhouse Rock. I might not name the artist, but I'll name the songs. If you know the artist, you know the artist. There's Tutti Frutti, High School Confidential, Summertime Blues by Eddie Cochran, Ray Vaughan, Buddy Holly, Peppermint Twist, Jody D and the Starlighters, She Cried, Jay and the Americans, Dream Baby, Roy Orbison, Bee-Bop-Balooba, Gene Vincent, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Earth Angel, Lottie Miss Claudie, In the Still of the Night, Little Darlin'. Yeah, that's a good song from the Diamonds. She Boom, Shaboom, Shaboom. Kissin' Time, Come Go With Me, Susie Q, I'm Walkin', that's Fat Dominoes. Blue Suede Shoes again, another Elvis Presley song. Peggy Sue, Ain't That a Shame, another, they have some of the artists has two songs on there. So there's The Train Kept a Rollin', The Majestic, Blue Moon, Let's Have a Party, You Send Me, Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night, If I Had a Girl, Party Doll, Way Down Yonder in New Orleans, Walk Right Back to Me This Minute, the Everly Brothers, Shout, Part 1 by Johnny O'Keefe, Stood Up, At the Hop, Danny and the Juniors, yeah. Again, Runaway. I have Runaway a couple of times on these compilations, so I have more than one copy of that song for sure. Maybelline by Chuck Berry, Rock Around the Clock, Bill Haley in the Comets, and Sherry, Sherry Baby. The Four Seasons. It's a great compilation. I love everything on this. There's not a dud on this compilation at all. Now, the next two here are part of what they call the signature series, so I'll present them both at the same time. So there is oldies classic hits, and then forever 50s. And again, some of the songs kind of repeat, but like what's not on that, we have Venus by Frankie Avalon, Yakety Yak, Turn Me Loose, You Send Me, Rockin' Robin, Teen Angel, This Old House, Come Softly to Me, Standing on the Corner, There Goes My Baby, Earth Angel, Diana by Paula Anka, Willie and the Hand Jive. So I had just recently bought a Eric Clapton album, the 461 Ocean Boulevard, and it has a cool rendition of Willie and the Hand Jive. It also has I Shot the Sheriff on it, which is it's awesome. But then there's the Purple People Eater, and my favorite Jan and Dean song is on this too. It's Baby Talk. If you have never heard Baby Talk by Jan and Dean, It's so delightful. There's That's All Right Mama, Elvis Presley, Bye Bye Love, Everly Brothers, Under the Boardwalk, Only You, The Platters, Poison Ivy by the Coasters, Party Doll by Buddy Knox, That'll Be the Day, again, I think I have it again, Buddy Holly, Hey Little Girl, Love Letters in the Sand, Blue Suede Shoes by Carl Perkins, um, Red River Rock, a nice instrumental by Johnny in the by Johnny and the Hurricanes. I'm reading this one right now. Then there's Lucille, Little Richard, Young Love by Sonny James, P.S. I Love You by the Hilltoppers, and then Maybelline again by Chuck Berry. So I have a couple of those twice. But again, I bought this because it has so many different 50 songs that I needed to get and wanted and love. So, and now talking about the oldies, again, there's some different stuff on here that I don't have. I'll try to skip the ones that I've already mentioned, but this has "See You Later, Alligator" by Bill Haley in his comments. There's "Leader of the Pack" by the Shangri-Las, "Good Golly Miss Molly," "Tossin' and Turnin' by the Ivy League, "A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On" by Jerry Lee Lewis. Already said this one. Already said this one. Already said that one. Already said that one. Again, "Rubber Balls" on this one here by Bobby V. So I have it twice. I love Bobby V. "Long Tall Sally" by Little Richard. "He's So Fine" by the Chiffons. Um, Corina by Ray Peterson. Great to have that. Already named that one. Already named that one. Already named that one. Already named. Yeah. Also has this also has a night. The Night Has 1,000 Eyes by Bobby V. So I had it on this, but I had to get the compilation of Bobby V because I love all his stuff. Ain't That a Shame? I already said. Tequila, the Champs. Yeah, that good to have that on there. "Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay" by Danny and the Juniors. "It's in His Kiss" by Betty Everett. "You've Got Personality," Lloyd Price. "Duke of Earl" by Gene Chandler. "Shake, Rattle, and Roll." "The Stroll." "Stagger Lee" by Lloyd Price again. Yeah, that was good. And then I think I have "Woolly Bully" again. Yeah. So some of them repeat, but I tried to get the different songs that I don't have from other compilations. Then there's another all-time greatest songs of the 50s, another from the original artist. I think most of these I already had in the other one. Which ones that I don't have? Yeah, there's "Love Potion Number 9" by the Clovers, which is good. "You Send Me," the Drifters. Um, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Song number 9 on the second disc of this. Okay, and it's probably one of my least favorite songs. But it was the very first. I mean, as a little kid, maybe 2, 3 years old, our family had this little record player, and I had the I it was one of the first records that I actually owned as a little tiny kid. It was I'm pretty sure it was my record. They bought it for me, but it was the Patty Page "How Much Is That Doggy in the Window." Now today, I really don't like that song at all. I got kind of it was so childish to me and really represents my very very young adolescence. Being a toddler, and yeah, I'm so over that song. So yeah, I kind of there's a Sandy Posey's "Who's Sorry Now," which I don't have in any of the other stuff. So yeah, I got this because it had a couple of songs that I didn't have. But yeah, it has "How Much Is That Doggy in the Window," which is interesting. It was the very first little 45 record that I owned as a kid. I can't remember what was on the other side of that, but I'm sure it was terrible also. So that's probably the worst song out of everything that I presented so far. Now, the last one here I want to present, although it does share songs that I already mentioned in those other compilations, this is probably my favorite compilation. It's called 40 Chart Busters. So it's 40 classic smash hits that ruled the charts. And what I love on it, it has "Love Me Do" from the Beatles, of course, and I do have some Beatles albums, which I didn't present in this, because that I did already a video on that before. But it has "The Twist" by Chuck Berry. "Breaking Up Is Hard to Do." Okay. The stuff that I don't have on the other stuff is "Soldier Boy" by the Shirelles. Yeah, I really love Soldier Boys. It has a Cliff Richard's Living Doll, which is awesome. And the Dean Martin song that I wanted to present that wasn't on that Rat Pack CD was "Memories Are Made of This." My favorite Dean Martin song. I really love that one. It's a good one. And this also has the "Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini" by Brian Hyland, which is an awesome song that I'm so happy to have on this. Has "Stuck on You" by Elvis Presley. "Hey Baby" by Bruce Chanel. Um, "Blue Moon" from the Marcells. "Walk Don't Run" by Ventures, but I have a whole collection of Ventures which I presented already. It has what else? It has "Can't Stop Loving You" by Ray Charles. Um, "Big Girls Don't Cry" by the Four Seasons. "The Lion Sleeps Tonight." "Wimblewep, Wimblewep" by the Tokens, which is I still like it. My brother hates that song. He got sick and tired of it because yeah, he heard it way too often. But I still really love that song. There's "Quarter to Three" by Gary U.S. Bonds. Yeah, which I love. Again, this has "Hats Off to Larry" by Del Shannon, which is one of my favorite Del Shannon songs. "What in the World Has Come Over You" by Jack Scott, which I'm not crazy for. It has "Kathy's Clown" by the Everly Brothers. Yeah, "Return to Sender," I already mentioned it. "Sherry," I already mentioned it. Um, "Diana" by Paul Anka, I already mentioned that. But this it has "Traveling Man" by Ricky Nelson. "He's a Rebel" by the Crystals. Love that song. Awesome song. Yeah, he's a rebel. One of my favorite songs of that era. Um, "Who Put the Bop in the Bop Bop Bop?" Bump. Yeah, "Who Put the Bump in the Bump Bop Bump" by Barry Mann. Raindrops, so many raindrops" by D. Clark. "Duke of Earl" is on this. "Calendar Girl" is on this by Neil Sedaka. Awesome. Of course, this has "Runaway" by Del Shannon. "Sheila" by Tommy Rowe. "It's All in the Game" by Tommy Edwards. Um, yeah, I already mentioned that one. Has "The Monster Mash" by Bobby Boris Pickett, which I'm going to be playing this Halloween for sure, because you can't go Halloween without playing "The Monster Mash." "It's Only Make Believe" by Conway Twitty. Conway Twitty, a country star, but it's actually one of my favorite Conway Twitty songs, and I'm not a country fan. I'm not even a fan of Conway Twitty at all, but I actually kind of do like that song. It's one of the ones I can really tolerate and actually kind of do like. There's "Ramblin' Rose" by Nat King Cole. "Roses Are Red" by Bobby Vinton. And one of, one of my favorite Beatles songs is on here that doesn't get mentioned too often, but I think is a really beautiful Beatles song is "P.S. I Love You." I think that's great. Didn't I see that somewhere else on here? Where was that? "P.S. I Love You." Is it on that one? I think it was on this one. I know I saw it. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah, there's P.S. I Love You by the Hilltoppers. I now it just dawned on me now, looking over these as I'm doing this, that this P.S. I Love You that was recorded by the Beatles might be the same P.S. I Love You that's by the Hilltoppers on this one. I'm going to have to play this actually after I'm done this video and test it out for myself. Yeah, I know I'm making these a little bit longer videos than usual. I want to fill in content, but I just had to kind of go in a little bit more detail about some of the best music that I love, even though they're all either greatest hits or compilations. They're not actual like studio albums from the artist. I love everything on. I love pretty much like 99.9% of everything on these. So so that is it. That is my presentation for all that great music that came before my time, before 1970s. All like either from the 50s and 60s, and mainly from the 50s and the 60s. Just just as an afterthought of my last video of my thoughts on getting older, and that I really do respect and love stuff that came before I was born. So I'm just going to leave it here before this gets too long. And as always, please be safe, take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everyone, have a great day, evening, night, wherever you may be. Peace, everyone.